boom, boom. Solids! Welcome to Deciphered Podcast, episode 5. Five time, man! We got to fucking episode 5, that's insane, isn't it? How are you all today? I am Kieran.
No, I'm Rob.
And we are going to get this started with another slow week of news. We have one topical item for you.
But thankfully nobody died.
Yay! The Grammys were last night.
Yes, yeah.
And obviously I was rooting for Avenged to get Best Rock Song. And we kind of had a thing about Code Orange getting Metal Song because of how far they've come.
I'm genuinely surprised at this. So, may as well just slam ourselves straight in. So, Best Metal Performance actually went to Mastodon with Sultan's Curse. I'm not a fan of the band myself. That's not to say that there's anything wrong with them. I've just never really given them the time of day.
I've tried to give them the time, but I'm not going to say that I've fully given myself invested time.
But, I mean, from what I know of the bands, they're obviously like fairly popular. They've played Download a fair few times. They've played all sorts of like UK circuits and European circuits at festivals.
Headlined the Golden Gods, Metal Hammer Golden Gods last year.
Okay, there you
I
go.
got tickets to that, didn't go. Because it was the day after Download, well, the day of getting back from Download.
Oh, right, okay.
It just wasn't right.
But, I mean, that's, again, though, that's... I just didn't expect it.
No.
I really didn't expect it. Not that there's anything, again, like, not that there's anything wrong with the band as such, just... Against the people that they were against,
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm kind of not. But you've also got to remember that the Grammys are decided by a bunch of people that work for the Grammys. It's not a fan decided thing. It's all that, and that's it. So metal performance to Mastodon, and the rock performance went to Foo Fighters
for Run, which is off of their newest disc, which I have now listened to a couple of times all the way through. Definitely an improvement on their last album, in my opinion. It's doing it. Stop zooming!
We apologise for any zoom.
Yeah, we're not entirely too sure what's going on with that. But, yeah, so, I mean, that's a worthy title for Foo, I think.
I'm bitter. Fine. No, it's fine. So, I'm not sure if you saw last week. So, the rock and metal, no rock or metal, anything, was shown on the actual broadcast.
Okay.
They were told beforehand that it was being left off TV, and it will be on the pre-show, and I believe it's actually filmed in a completely different room.
Huh.
So, M Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold, or the whole band, but M Shadows when spoke about it, they just boycotted it. They said, we're not going to attend that. Why would we pay? They had to pay $150,000 to get all the band members and family out there to attend this show, pay for the suits and stuff like that.
Okay.
And they weren't willing to spend that much money. I don't know how it comes to that much money, that's just what I saw. But how they weren't willing to spend that much money to do all of that, to attend this, just to not be shown. Like the point of... So the Grammys nailed it in terms of nominations this year. They did great, and then they fuck it by going, well, you're not going to show any of it because we need to show Beyonce doing shit. Instead, great, cool.
I mean, that's basically the state of the music industry nowadays in terms of everything that we like about it all is pretty sorely forgotten. Like, and I mean, you can tell that just from the short list of music that would apply to our podcast now, for example, or you know, like if me and you were just going to have like a conversation about it, we've literally got like 3 subcategories that we can talk about, 3 or 4. And then, you know, you've got the ones that are like best R&B solo artist with another singer, best R&B video,
songwriting and stuff
yeah,
like that.
and it's like there's clearly favoritism running through that. It's just that
I mean, I get to some extent that that's what sells most because a lot of people lack intelligence to listen to good music. But to that extent, having a different building, I made a fact check on the building thing, but to just not televise it. Like, it's 4 categories, I believe there were, in rock, 2 metal, and that was rock song, rock album, metal song, metal album. It would take 20 minutes to show that on a 3-hour broadcast.
yeah.
Like, give us some fucking time. Okay, it's happened before with Avenged when they won the MTV Awards back in the day. I think it's like Best New Video, and they were against Rihanna and Chris Brown separately, funny enough.
It really is
And
doing it again.
they did that and showed up again. So if they did that, why can't the Grammys do it? But I guess it's a kind of political way of doing things. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
But that is the news. Okay, so
We are just going to apologise now for what on earth is going on with the video today. It's been brought to our attention that last week it was doing it a couple of times. It seems to literally be doing it constantly right now.
Mm-hmm.
Make do.
Yeah.
Because we are. Yeah, so that is pretty much it for the news.
Yeah.
Thankfully, nobody has died.
Yeah, this is great news. Somewhat separate, but still kind of news. Download announcement.
Yeah.
65 bands, so we're not going through all of them. Fuck that.
No, we simply do not have the time, but I did highlight some of the ones that stand out to me.
Yeah, go for it.
So we've got, I know these guys were announced earlier than the last announcement, but I forgot to mention them last time. In This Moment are playing.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know, really. I'm not like a massive fan, but I like what I've heard of theirs just because she's just twisted as fuck, man.
She is something. I'm not sure. I'm still very touch and go with the vocals.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's quite like the same as quite a few other bands that we've spoken about along a similar line. Like it's definitely an acquired taste. But I'm quite excited for that because I just have a feeling, I've never seen them play live before, but I have a very, very strong feeling that they might put on a very decent show. So quite excited about that. And me being me, I'm naturally excited about Tesseract. Parkway Drive.
They were announced before anyway, but they've now been shown that they are second stage headliners.
Yes.
Opposite Guns, I think.
Which, I mean, yeah, okay, so
Might
that's
be a
bad
bunch.
news for them, but still, it could be quite exciting.
Well, I think with Guns, they'll probably pull the no one plays when we play card, which some headliners do. So chances are you get to see Parkway and then the whole of Guns.
Which will be fine by me. In fact, that's yeah, let's do that. But the biggest excitement for me came from Blackstone Cherry have been announced.
Yeah, they have. Sub-headlining Guns N' Roses on Saturday.
Yep, I am fucking stoked about that because, to be honest,
What was that?
even if...
That's really cool. I didn't know you could see that.
Yeah, me either.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hi, Mum.
Yeah, hi, Sarah.
But yeah, so I mean, like, I mean, even if it is a case of then Parkway Drive versus Blackstone Cherry, I love Parkway Drive, but I have to go and see Blackstone Cherry. The last time they played Download that I was there was 2013. I'm not sure if they played it since then. You'll probably know better than me.
I think they did a secret show in 2014 or 15.
But when they played it 2013, they were rivaled with Slipknot, headlining the main stage on the Friday, while they headlined the second stage on the Friday. And thankfully, in some bizarre sense, I got pretty injured at Slipknot, and the crowd was so fucking jam-packed where I am, or where I was at the time, that I ended up just sort of making the decision. I'd gone down in the pit about 7 or 8 times by this point, and this same Spanish guy, which, if by some bizarre coincidence you're ever watching this, thank you so much for picking me up like 6 or 7 times. He was literally the same guy, and I didn't see him all the while I was on my feet. He was like a guardian angel. It's just like anytime I went down, I was struggling to get up, and then this same guy was like picking me up, like, "Oh, Yuki, you like the floor, don't you?" I was just like, "Thanks, guy." Like,
And 7 more times.
yeah. So I mean, like, I got quite injured towards the end of it, and ended up walking back to camp before Slipknot had quite finished their set. But I did mean that I caught the end of Blackstone Cherries as I was walking past as well. Mate, they sound fucking brilliant live.
See, I'm not a massive fan, as we discussed previously. Now, 2013 they were headlining second against Slipknot. 2014 they did a secret show, but we were too far out to see much of it because it was in the tent.
Right.
Right, and they got announced on the day kind of thing.
Yeah.
2015, so they played 3 years in a row. Right. 2015, they sub-headlined against Slipknot again. Sorry, second stage headline against Slipknot again. Right, so I will see Slipknot every time.
Dangerously unfair.
Yeah.
Dangerously unfair on Blackstone Cherry.
But that's happened each time. Now they got announced for this. I don't really like Parkway that much, but I want to see them. I don't really like Blackstone Cherry that much, but I want to see them. So that's the slight issue I have. However, I will be going to see them over Parkway.
Yeah.
Because I want to be near the front for Guns anyway, so perfect.
I caught all of Parkway Drive set in 2013. And it was really good, and especially back then, because that was before the latest album had...
Ellie is watching. Hi,
excellent.
Ellie.
I don't know who you are.
I work with her. She doesn't like rock or metal, but she was adamant to watch it every week, and it took her 5 weeks.
Fantastic. Thanks. Thanks for your support, I think.
Thank you, yeah. I literally had no idea what we're talking about, though, but thank you again.
So, yeah, I mean, Yeah, I would definitely choose to go and see Blackstone Cherry over Parkway Drive this year, but it's biased for me to say that. In your position where you've not seen either band, I guess I would just be like, yeah, cool, no matter which one you chose. I mean, both have their merits, but I would say Blackstone Cherry have remained consistently good with their album releases. Like every album's probably got one or two songs on there that a lot of people could probably be in like agreement of. It's like, yeah, it's not as strong as like the rest of the album. Whereas Parkway Drive's newest release, IRE, is just shit.
Okay.
It is shit. And if they play a lot of that, I will be glad to not see them this year.
Okay.
I'll go and see them if they play Idols and Anchors and things from like Horizons and Deep Blue, but we'll talk about Parkway Drive in a little while because we have our topic planned.
Yes, just before that, I'll go through my download picks.
Yes.
Cradle of Filth.
Yeah.
First time they've been there since I've started going. I've been there every year since 09.
You're fucking joking.
No, they've never played downloads in the last decade.
I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I'm actually kind of genuinely shocked a little bit.
Yeah, I always thought it always happened and just never seemed to happen.
Wow.
It's Gold member, Ellie. For fuck's sake, not Goldfinger. Anyway,
Goldfinger are a band, a rock band,
and a James Bond film. Right, so yeah, that I'm obviously very happy to see Bullet move up to the sub-headline slot under Avenged. Very fucking happy about that. That's always been a dream gig of mine to see them. So yeah, very happy about that. There's a few others that don't really spring to mind. Do you read out your whole list?
I only wrote the ones that I've.
Yeah, well, there's probably some others as well. But overall, for 65 bands, a weak lineup, a weak announcement, I think. But
in general, yes. I mean, for your sort of style, I can imagine so. But what I would say that I have also written down, I think, is that Festival is shaping up to be like a good blend, and there is like a bit of everything for everyone. So you've got bands like Neck Deep that have been announced now, very sort of like pop punky.
They're headlining second stage as well. That's insane.
They are not. They are headlining
third stage. Yeah, the actual pop punk stage.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like they do seem to be doing a fair amount to draw in like a few different sets of crowds. So I agree in terms of my personal taste. It's probably a little bit of a weak announcement, but on the whole, I actually can't sort of on that whole. Can't really fault it because there is a little bit of something.
There is a choice for everything. I think my two biggest worries, well, one's confirmed worry, is that Volbeat are third down on Avenged. I'm going to be main stage all day for Saturday like I was for Avenged last time, and I don't really care for Volbeat. And the other worry I have is Black Veil Brides are on main stage and they haven't been announced which stage it is, but they unfortunately suit Avenged. They're in the same kind of category of fans, so I'll probably stick with Black Veil Brides, and I don't really want to.
Because that means that you're going to have to stay in that arena all day and watch them.
Yeah. But talking about festival lineups, not ones that we don't want, ones that we do want. Our topic for today is festivals at... what we're choosing one stage for one day at a festival, our fantasy lineup, and we choose a stipulation. So, for example, if you wanted, as an example, Iron Maiden to play the whole of a particular album, you could do that.
Thank God.
I chose that at random. I don't know your list, you don't know my list, okay? So we can do that. We decided to go for people that is actually possible, so they are all currently alive. Which is
just to sort of clarify that, because when we first started talking about it from, it's a fantasy festival lineup, one of the first things I thought of was like, great, I get to see Motorhead in my brain. But we've decided not to do that because it's too sad, for one thing. And another, it would probably just make a bit more sense for us to just sort of go with what we know, go with what could be possible. I mean, it won't happen, but... So we've decided that we're going to do this a little bit differently from last week. So we're going to basically run through Kieran's festival first. I'm going to ask him a bunch of questions as to why he's picked the acts that he's picked. And yeah, we'll do the same for me and we'll go from there.
Yep, so we'll work from the bottom up.
Yes.
Okay.
So who have you got opening?
So opening my festival is Metallica.
What the fuck?
I know.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know, right? This is the pick.
I'm not even a mad fan, but what are you doing?
Because they weren't in my pick last time. So people that watched last time, I've done this once before with Beatdown, and yeah, I couldn't think of the 10th band, and I thought, fuck it, Metallica. but I already had my top 9. So
They didn't really fit the bill anywhere else.
So I could have moved them around, but I thought, why not, on a perfect day at 1 p.m. or midday, open the festival, you start off with the biggest metal band of all time.
Do you know what? I would love to see Andy Copping have this conversation with them. Like,
Can you
guys,
imagine?
Hey, yeah, like,
So
you're going to open our festival, yeah?
yeah, pretty much.
Friday morning,
So-
we want you on that main stage.
Metallica would open. They would get people dragged in.
That is true, yeah.
You're gonna fucking sell tickets.
Yeah, for sure. And I suppose it means that your arena will be packed out from the beginning of the day onwards. With
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So the only thing the stipulation I have is that they play Unforgiven 2 live, because I want to fucking see that song live. It's my favourite song, and they never play it. It breaks my fragile little heart.
My fragile little man.
So, sticking with headliner material,
Who is
opening the day,
next on?
Slipknot.
Okay.
Right, so we'll see. What
I'm
the
sure
next
there's method to your madness.
Yeah,
I just
so-
I can't imagine it right
I wanted to
now.
stick up there. I wanted to stick them there, but they weren't going to be at the top of the bill. And you want to go from like one of the biggest metal bands to one of the most fucking brutal metal bands as well. So Slipknot can do that. They can
Yeah.
keep a crowd going, and you're going to be pumped for the rest of the day, no doubt. Okay.
Either
so
that or you're going to burn out all of your energy at Slipknot and Metallica and then not
don't-
want to see any of the other bands because
You
you,
don't
want to
do
go
that at
back
my
to your
festival.
fucking camp and get drunk like a normal festival goer does.
if we're going to go that far, I'll put a rule in my festival: you can bring cans into the arena. So fuck it.
Fantastic. I want to go to your festival.
Yeah. Brilliant. So yeah, Slipknot would continue the show.
Okay.
Good
Yeah.
45-minute set by Slipknot, like Days of the Old, and tear each other's fucking faces apart.
Yeah.
Alright, so that is my...
And I have also seen in interviews as well that the majority of the band would prefer to play shorter sets because they find that it's easier to just go all out
Yep.
and do the shit that they're used to doing.
So, with Slipknot, there is a stipulation. And it should be obvious to everyone that's a Slipknot fan, in my opinion. Joey Jordison will be returning to the drums.
Yes,
Because
naturally.
Joey Jordison is probably my...
And that's your sort of thing for if... So, obviously, like, you've picked that with the assumption that Joey Jordison will come back and play.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
this is... We're going with the idea that everything's possible. That, as long as they're alive. So Joey, in my books, Joey would be back with the band.
Yeah.
I might even start off with Jay on drums for a couple of songs, maybe like Devil and I, open with that, and then something else, then just bring Joey on.
And then
Or maybe just Joey.
Fucking burn the rest of the Grey Chapter because fuck that album.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
I can't wait to review that one day. So, next band, now we're going back into the lower levels.
Okay.
Okay, so we started off
Is this
here-
where it's going to start making a bit more sense?
Yes, it is. Trivium.
Yes. Okay.
Trivium would... There's no stipulation, because any set they play would blow my face.
Yep.
Right, so just a good mix of songs between all of the albums, a heavy amount from the new album,
Yeah.
and a heavy amount from Ascendancy,
Okay. Yep.
with a
Cool.
few songs dotted in between.
Like a few of your sort of all-time classics dotted in between
Yeah.
those, but the majority of those albums would you would like to see.
Absolutely. So yeah, so Trivium would just have like a good old 50-minute set. So I'm still keeping the sets at the same time as they would be at Download. So Metallica will be opening with a half-an-hour set. Slipknot have 45 minutes. These guys have 50 minutes. Right, so I'm still going to keep it to the confines of a day. As much as I'd love to say they've all got 2-hour sets, it would just be crazy because you'd be there for 16 hours, or 20 hours actually, and that's without gaps in between. So Trivium on my third pick. My technically seventh up is Machine Head,
Okay.
and I would keep them pretty much as they are as well. I would like Adam Deuce to come back. Personally, the bassist, also part-time vocalist from Onto the Locust. I would have a lot of songs from Onto the Locust. I would have actually a good few songs from Supercharger. Hate me for it, that's fine. I would probably avoid the new album. I haven't heard all of it yet, but some of the new albums are actually better than I thought it was, so I'll give it some credit.
Okay.
Stop bouncing around. And then, yeah, effectively those 3 albums was what would make it for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Machine Head have the ability to get any crowd going. When they headlined Bloodstock a good few years ago,
Insanity.
insanity. Real intense.
I've seen lots of indoor shows that they've done as well, and they look like death
Yeah.
in a room basically. So
Yeah, I've been to a few inside shows as well. I've had to go and see them again in March. It's going to be intense.
Yep, intense as fuck. So who's next after them?
So you may have heard this album before. It's been mentioned every fucking week. Sixth, playing Death of a Dead Day in full.
Yep.
I don't know how it's happening, but they've managed to make it into every podcast so far. we've gone through 60 enough. I'm not going to linger on this part too much, but they're a great band. That album's insane. We did a review for it a couple of weeks back. Check
Has
it
your
out.
favourite sixth song on it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it has. I'll also, there's a couple of songs I'll choose from their second album as well. Sorry, their first album, because Death of a Dead Day is their first album. No,
second album.
second album. From the first album, I'd have If You Weren't So Perfect, because I never played that live. And of course, okay, so number fucking 5 is Killswitch Engage
Okay, yeah.
with
alright.
Howard and Jesse on vocals.
Yes, cool. So,
Okay.
in what sense then is the first question I want to ask? Like, would you have Howard do some specific songs and Jesse do some specific songs, or would you have it so that they've put in a lot of time and effort to find a way that they could both sing every song?
The majority would be their own songs. So
Yeah.
Howard would have to do My Curse by himself, Holy Diver by himself,
100%.
End of Heartache by himself. Jesse would have to do Always by himself, My Last Serenade by himself, and the big track that I can't think of the name of, It's Happened Again, In Due Time by himself. Then I'd probably have them collaborate for certain things like This Is Absolution.
It could be interesting to see
This
if they do
Fireburns.
like a few songs together.
Yeah, definitely I'd have
because-
some duets at times.
I mean, it's been said millions of times before, but they both have really strong merits as vocalists.
Absolutely, it is
and
very
they both
different.
brought, yeah, exactly. They both brought something completely fucking different to the band entirely. And I don't really feel like, in that sense, that I could pick a favourite, although it is definitely Howard.
Yes. There you go. It's definitely Howard. Like, if I had to choose between the two, Howard every day.
It's just I like his vocals a little bit better, like the way that he.
It's the melodics, man.
It is, yeah, and he was the vocalist of the band when I first found them. The first song of theirs that I saw, I'm pretty sure it was End of Heartache, actually. That was like the first one that I definitely saw the music video to anyway. And I was blown away. I was just like, wow, this guy can sing so fucking well. It's crazy. And that got me into the band. And then when I started hearing tracks with like a really heavy vocalist in, without the videos and stuff, I got really confused. I was just like, why did he start singing all of a sudden? And it transpires it was because they went from the old vocalist to Howard and then back to the old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But the thing is, with little note of information, when we went back to Jesse, they held auditions. They didn't just grab him back. They held auditions, and Jesse auditioned, and they were like, "Oh."
I mean,
cool.
I don't actually know. Why did he leave the band in the first place, or was he
There's
pushed out?
mixed stories. One said someone said he had diabetes, and that was part of it. Someone said he wasn't giving a fuck anymore, maybe down to a bit of depression.
Yeah.
So
Which, as we've covered many a time on here, seems to be a fucking rife
yeah.
in metal and rock and stuff.
So it's not fully confirmed, but they are on good terms, which is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were definitely the two vocalists together will be smashing.
Yeah. Okay. So next, after Killswitch, we have.
Alter Bridge.
I'm actually a little bit surprised they're not further up.
Yeah, they're number 4. Fourth down. So Alter Bridge with the stipulation that the first half of the show will be with a live orchestra,
Yep.
and the second half will be without.
To sort of compensate for both sides of the shows that you're.
Yes. In
then
fact,
going
this
to see.
show at the fucking Royal Albert Hall, where they played with an orchestra, was insane. And fuck me, we've gone blurry. What's going on with this camera? Ah, our faces. So they would have obviously the first half would have some of their softer songs, because the heavier songs are always better without an orchestra. You can't really do Metalingus with an orchestra. Although I wanted it when I went there and I didn't play it.
I was
like,
going to say, yeah.
actually,
I bet if anybody could, it probably would be them. But
yeah. So that's effectively that.
okay.
And they would play songs like Lover, Waters Rising with the orchestra, and then Metalingus and Isolation afterwards.
So that's pretty much answered the only question that I had there were there any specific songs that you would have wanted to hear with the orchestra?
Yeah, that pretty much. A song they didn't play with the orchestra, but I'd love them to, would be a great song from Fortress. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
It's really good. You got to listen to that song, guys.
Yeah, it's got
a
the
great
word
song.
fire in it, but I forget
Yeah.
everything on the spot. So that's pick number 4.
Yes. So now we are into your sub-headline, your main support. Your sub-support, your main support, and your headline.
Yes.
Okay, so who is your sub-support?
Bullet for My Valentine.
Okay.
Shock horror. They will be playing the Poison in full because it's their best album, and when they played it in full, a couple of years back in December of 2016.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So front to back.
And this is a guy that actually paid to go to a different gig than the one that we had originally planned to go to, purely to see this album played live.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of level of
Yeah.
commitment to this album that we're dealing with.
It's not often you see a band play a whole album live. I've had a good few opportunities actually. I've got Death of a Dead Day, Poison.
Metallica did the entirety
Black
of the
album.
Black album at Download one
Yep.
year.
I've seen Rain and Blood live by Slayer.
Wow.
I think that's maybe it for full albums. But yeah, the Poison was incredible, so it's got to happen. Now, it's being picky. I'm kind of still a bit odd about it, so I'd have Moose back on drums because
Oh, fuck yeah.
I
Fuck yeah.
don't want to the guy. Like, it's fine if they're moving on, but I still don't have a reason why they're moving on. But Moose back on drums for this show.
I don't. I mean, obviously, we don't know necessarily why that came about anyway. There's all sorts of fucking weird stipulation that it was to do with his family and stuff like that. But we still, like Kieran just said, we still don't have any answers on that. And to me, if I find out that they ousted him from the band when he was quite willing to come back, he just needed some time or something.
Yeah, he has to
I
talk to
will
his
be
kid.
fucking pissed.
That's why he had the break in the first place, was to have a bit of time with newborn.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
literally it.
That's what we know. But weird. Also, there will be another rule. There will be absolutely no Temper played.
Yes, that's
Because
fine.
That's fucking scummy album.
That's fine.
Yeah. So that's that.
Unless they were doing it so that we could boo them entirely and just remind them how shit that album actually is.
Not worth it.
No.
Just not do it.
No, I'd rather leave him a tweet or something.
Yeah, strongly worded tweet.
Yeah.
So,
So,
sub-headline.
Yeah.
would be the taking my biasness out of it. Well, they're the second best band live on the planet, and that is Rammstein.
Interesting. Okay.
Because they are. If you haven't seen Rammstein, if you don't even like Rammstein, and you get a chance
Still
to
go
live,
see them live.
their show is incredible. The amount of pyrotechnics, the theatrics, it's all beautifully done. It's insane.
Let's not go too in depth on it because they are also on my list.
Okay, brilliant. I will cover slightly, but yeah, we'll move on. We'll both discuss it in depth when it comes to yours. Okay?
Yes.
And then, if you don't know me by now, I guess you'd be surprised by this choice. Most of you do know me by now, and that is my top pick is Avenged Sevenfold.
Playing anything in specific, or
I really questioned myself. I was like, no, on this.
Mm-hmm.
Do they play Wake in the Fallen in full or not? I opted for not. So they've got a 2.5 hour set, like most headliners. That's a good hour out of it to play Wake in the Fallen, maybe an hour and 20 minutes. They would play a lot of Wake in the Fallen, just not in full. So I would get My Second Heartbeat, Chapter 4, Desecrate for Reverence, Unholy Confessions, and the both I Won't See You Tonight's, and Clairvoyant Disease. I get a lot of it, to be fair. And Eternal Rest. It's pretty much the whole album. Now, I would have them come, so I've never heard Unholy Confessions with the intro of Waking the Fallen beforehand live, because I just go straight into Unholy Confessions, the last song. So I would have their set, which would end with a little piece of heaven.
Yep.
Then I have an encore of a couple of songs.
Yep.
Then I have a second encore, and that will literally Waking the Fallen, playing for the speakers. Then Unholy Confessions blasting out, and that will end the set. So that is my festival. So I'll run down again. Quick time. From the bottom up, we have Metallica playing Unforgiven 2, Slipknot with Joey, Trivium, Machine Head, Six playing Death of a Dead Day in full, Killswitch Engage with Howard and Jesse, Alter Bridge with the first half of their set with an orchestra and the second half without, Bullet for Valentine with Poison in full, no Temper, Rammstein, they have to play Engel and Mine Hurts Brent, they're two songs that have to be played. Avenged Sevenfold, I forgot to mention actually, a big part of it is they would play Exist in full with Neil deGrasse Tyson coming on stage and doing his speech.
Excellent.
Because that would be fucking fantastic.
That would be monumental.
Yeah. And they would probably have an orchestra on stage for that as well. Maybe just that one song.
So either way, fucking epic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
Roberto.
So, we are now moving on to my fantasy festival. So, I decided my festival opener would be a local band. Mad props to you guys at Hacktivist.
Reppin'.
With special guest Ben Marvin, naturally.
Of course.
Not to say that their new vocalist is bad. He's really good at what he does. Just it's not Ben, and I miss Ben. Please come back, Ben. Please. But my reason for picking them was purely because I feel like in terms of like a crowd opener that's not fucking wild and out of there, like in terms of a crowd opener that doesn't normally headline every festival that they play, I figured that they would be good for the same sort of reason. You would get your arena packed out early in the morning. You've got a bit of something for everyone. You've got the people that like the rap and like the cross splice of genres and stuff. You've got the people that love the fucking heavy metal side of it because it's Hacktivist. You love the people that have got like the tech metal aspects of it. So there is like a little bit of something for most people there, and I feel like that's a good way to sort of just to draw you in.
Billy, you right?
Started. So yeah, so I've decided that Hacktivist will then open my festival.
So before you go forward, have you heard the new vocalist?
I have, yes.
You have, okay. So
Yeah.
just make sure you had an opinion on that.
Yeah, he's alright. Again, like, he's really good at what he does. He comes from a similar sort of background as Jay does, in the sense that he was doing his own shit beforehand that had no influence from metal whatsoever, from as far as I can tell. Like, I've heard a few of his freestyles and stuff like that, and it is just, he's a rapper. Whereas I know that Ben, having spoken to Ben, like in person a fair few times about his music taste and stuff, I know that he was into a lot of rap and hip hop and stuff, but he did also listen to a lot of metal as well. So it's just different, really. I think he definitely still brings like the same sort of thing that Hacktivists need. He definitely still brings to the table. And to be honest with you, I never doubted that Jay could have done it on his own anyway. But yeah. So
It's fair, no fair choice.
yeah, I thought so. I thought that was like a pretty good way to open up. So next up we have dun 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 dun, and we won't talk too much about it because of reasons.
Okay, I think that's okay.
I will have Carnival playing The Martyr in full.
Okay. Which we are reviewing after this topic.
Yes, so I won't go too heavily into the album itself and why I picked it, because those reasons will come out in the review.
But go as a live band, why have you chosen them?
As a live band, I feel like they are a good way to break away from the heaviness of opening the day with Hacktivist, but still have like a very similar sort of feel underneath them. Carnival do have a lot of techie aspects to them. They're just not very heavy with them. On some of their tracks anyway. Some of the songs that we'll talk about later on are definitely influenced by big bands like that at the time, but what you need to remember about Carnival is that they've been doing what they've been doing for longer than tech metal has been around.
Okay.
So yeah, so without going too full in on that, I'll move on. So next up is Parkway Drive, and I've had them playing Atlas, Deep Blue and Horizons, a good splice of pretty much all of my favourite songs from those three albums. And definitely !times 25, not playing anything from IRE.
Okay.
Again, shit album. I'm sorry if any of you are massive fans of Parkway Drive and actually somehow still appreciate that album. It's wank. It's truly wank. So I've opted that they basically forget that they ever wrote that album.
The Temper of Parkway Drive.
Yeah. Although in some ways I actually feel a little bit stronger about this. I mean, in some senses, Temper, as shit as it was still Bullet in the sense that it's still the type of music that they do. Why Winston has started rapping over the top of Parkway Drive songs when he has been known to have some of, if not kind of like the most brutal vocal style ever. I mean, there are a lot of bands that come out of Australia that are very similar. You've got August Burns Red, and their vocalist is really good as well. But he's just not as... Something about when Winston is like bellowing down the mic, especially live. Like you'd imagine his vocal style to sort of suffer live because it's quite hard to pull off. It sounds like it's like a studio, sort of like a given in the studio kind of thing. Like it would take him quite a few... He sounds perfect live. He sounds exactly the same as he does over the album. And one thing that I definitely don't think that IRE really... I just forget that they wrote it. I really do.
Okay.
Not a fan.
No, that's cool.
So yeah, moving on to getting slightly heavier again is Stone Sour playing Come Whatever May in full.
Absolutely. That would be incredible.
Yeah, it's got to be done. I did opt to keep Slipknot out of my lineup this time because A, I figured that they would appear somewhere on yours, and B, for sure. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't sort of repeating too many of the same acts that I chose for last week. I know it's a different topic.
Both Nero's chose Slipknot last week, funny enough.
All Hope Is Gone, number 4. for me.
That's correct. Never mind.
We're really good at what we do, honestly. But yeah, so I decided to keep them off because I have already seen them live, and there's no denying they put on a fucking amazing show. I just can't imagine it being the same without Joey. I haven't seen them without Joey. I don't want to.
No, that's why I chose them.
I'm not a big fan. But yeah, I mean, I sort of thought, well, if it's my festival, I can say Joey will come back, and that's when I thought, but I think I'm pretty sure that you will do that.
Yeah.
So decided to leave them off. But Stone Sour playing Come Whatever May in full would blow my fucking nutsack halfway across the arena.
A good few selection from other albums as well.
Definitely.
Absolute Zero.
Yep. But I just want to see, 30, 30, 150, and it's got to be done. You need to see that album live.
Opening that song as well. Oh,
it would be fucking incredible.
Yeah. Book it. Book it, Copping.
Fucking yeah, do it. So moving up after that, then we do have Black Stone Cherry, and I've literally put doing whatever the fuck they want, quite frankly, because like I was saying earlier, I mean, yes, in terms of their albums, I mean, they can choose whichever songs they want, because quite frankly, I have them down as having a look at some of their set lists, because I was quite intrigued to see if they're the type of band that favour their newer releases over playing their old stuff live. They just seem to mix it up so much that I don't think I would be unhappy with the song choices that they make. Okay. So I've just kind of said to myself, yeah, all right, well, we'll leave them to decide what they're going to do for themselves, really. And I think that there will be songs that I would necessarily not care for live, but they will play them, and they will play them with the purpose of everyone in the crowd will scream the lyrics back, i.e.
Blame it on the Boom Boom.
I would even allow it. It's my fucking festival, and I would even allow it, because it's the purpose of the song is to be played live and to have 100,000 people screaming back at you. That's basically what it is about.
It reminds me of when we talked last week about Puddle Mud. She fucking hates me. It's one of those songs to me.
Exactly, yeah. They'll play it halfway through their set, maybe, and if they're having a bad show, that'll be the turning point for them. It's the same with Foo Fighters and All My Life. Every single member of the band has said that any show that they've played where they felt like they weren't performing very well, or that the sound wasn't coming together nicely, all of them agree that whenever they play All My Life, which they play every fucking time they play live, it is the turning point of any show, and after that it's fine.
Interesting.
They could literally be having the worst show, and I know that that's what sort of Blame It on the Boom Boom is for Black Stone Cherry as well, so I would allow that. But speaking of Foo Fighters, they are next on my list. And what I've decided to do, because I did sort of sit there and think, what album would I like them to do? Can't really pick one, because all of my favourite Foo Fighters songs are spanned across literally every single one of their albums, bar the one before the newest. So I wouldn't necessarily be able to pick a specific sort of show for them to do. And I was really racking my brains as to that. And then I thought, well, what was the best Foo Fighters show that I ever went to? And they played very similar sets at Reading in 2012 that they did in 2011 for the Bowl. If I had to choose, I would give a slight edge to the 2011 performance at the Bowl. So I basically put down next to it that as long as they did a repeat set of MK Bowl 2011, ideally on the second day, because that was when members of Zeppelin came out, or it might have been on the first day. I'm not too sure. But either way, I want Zeppelin. I want members of Zeppelin on stage with them.
Zeppelin was the second day because I was in for it. It was Alice Cooper the first day.
Yes. So yeah, I went and I saw them with Alice Cooper, and I thought that I had picked the long straw and I got off lucky, and then I found out that members of Zeppelin came onto the stage.
I would have swapped for you in a heartbeat.
You see, I felt like that at first. I felt like, do you know what? Nah, it's fine. I got to see Alice Cooper live, but I've seen Alice Cooper live, so I have never seen anything to do with Zeppelin live on a stage.
I guess now I can say that actually. Yeah, at the time I couldn't say I saw Cooper live.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it was kind of like, well, yeah, okay. I mean, either day, really, either day. And I know that C6 Steve has obviously come on stage with them a fair few times.
That was
and done stuff
the same
as well.
as Cooper, wasn't it?
Quite possibly.
Sure
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
What did we get to see? Now, I might have got C6 Steve actually. I think it was C6 Steve and a member of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, like John Paul Jones or something.
It was John Paul Jones.
Either way, as long as they did a repeat of that weekend somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't really care what day. I'm pretty sure their set list for the actual band stayed the same. So I wouldn't really care.
I think it was minor changes, but yeah, fair enough. I remember looking at it, thinking, I wish I saw that song live.
Opening with Bridge Burning from Wasting Light, and then going into Rope is a fucking banging way to open a massive show like the Bowl. And I lost my shit. We'd been standing on our feet in the blaring sun for about 6-7 hours by the time that they came on stage. I went absolutely ballistic. At a time when I thought my legs could have dropped off, I became painless. Like,
also, you went through the heartache of sitting through Biffy Clyro.
It wasn't so much of a heartache for me. It was when I first entered that arena. I thought, like, oh god, I'm gonna have to sit through Biffy. But it was actually at that show that got me into Biffy Clyro.
Okay.
Because I thought they did a fucking fantastic job playing live.
I was lucky enough to get a ticket for the Sunday showing for like a tenner, absolutely by chance. I happened to walk in as Foo started their first song, so I didn't have to deal with that shit.
I mean, that's fair enough, but I would give Biff a go if I were you. Mon the Biff.
I've seen him live before at Sonosphere. He headlined. I collected cups, watched Black Spiders for a bit, and then collected more cups and left.
Fantastic.
It's just not for me, Biffy Clyro.
That's fair enough, and to be fair, a lot of their stuff that is big in the mainstream is not for me either. Like, there are a few songs, I mean, Many of Horror is the one that everyone knows, and that's the really sad one. When you kiss me hard, and when you hit me hard. I hate that song. I can't stand that song.
I don't think I know that song. I know
you would know it if you heard
Mountain Sea.
Mountains, yeah.
Oh, well, great title. Fair enough.
You would know the song if I played it for you. You would definitely know the song. It's just not for me. Like, it's overproduced. It's designed to be overplayed on the radio, and I'm pretty sure the band wrote it with that intention.
Okay.
So yeah, not for me in that sense. I like, if there are any Biffy Clyro fans watching, Puzzle, I'm sure you'll agree, is probably one of their better efforts. So if I was, in fact, moving on.
What?
I was just going to say, in fact, if I was going to get you to listen to an album of theirs, it would probably be Puzzle.
Oh, I see where you're going with this, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's either that or Shikari.
Biffy Clyro.
Thank you. So, after that, I have, just to get us ready for our top 3 bands,
so Foos were 5th.
Okay. Foos were... Yeah, technically. I've actually numbered mine backwards, so I've put number 1 as my festival opener. So, Foo Fighters were 6th.
Okay.
Rammstein are 7th, before we start getting into our supports.
So 4th
and stuff.
down, right?
Yeah, 4th down, Rammstein. Main reason for wanting them in this lineup at all was that for anyone that doesn't know, I was very much looking forward to seeing Rammstein. I think we've talked about this on the podcast already.
Oh, not the podcast. I'm not sure, but either go away.
Yeah,
go ahead, even.
Go away.
Go away. Get the fuck out of here.
All right, see you later, guys.
Finally, some alone time, guys.
Rammstein are fucking awesome, and
They are fucking awesome.
It's the pyrotechnics and fucking rocketing dildos halfway across the arena and shit like that I was
literally spraying cum on when I saw it down the year that you didn't. The first 10,000 people were hit, I'm sure.
Well, there you go.
Like, that's a lot of fake semen.
There's a lot of fake semen, and that's a lot of preparation to put into a show. Admittedly, all right, fair enough. Yeah, exactly, man. They must have been fucking jacking it for like a year. But I was so gutted that I missed them. I felt bad for my girlfriend as well, because we literally got together at that festival, and we got together while I started having a very dangerous turn, probably for substance abuse. And I passed out for the majority of the Sunday, so we got to see the bands that we went there to go and see, and they were fairly low down the bill. So I would estimate that I was probably passed out in my tent for about 10 hours, which meant that I missed Limp Bizkit, I missed Rammstein. Mm-hmm. And when I saw videos of their performance that they did at that show afterwards, I shouldn't have done it to myself. I really shouldn't have done it to myself. I saw them on YouTube, and for a few days after the festival, I was like, nope, don't even want to see, and eventually I caved.
Don't feel sorry for him.
And I nearly cried.
Yeah.
Because the amount of fire I want fire and dildos at my festival, alright? Like, that's what I need in life.
Preferably just during Rammstein.
I mean, sure, whatever you guys get up to in the camp is your call. I'm pretty laid back as a festival host, to be fair, so you do what you want.
Fair. Yeah, so now we can talk about more in detail about, because obviously they're my second choice. Engel, when they play that live, they didn't play live the first time, which broke my fragile little heart. But they have, like, so Till wears these gigantic metal wings that go on fire, and it just raises above the stage.
And it's shit like that I
so good. The thing that got me the first time I saw him live, it got me the second time, even though I was expecting it, and that is during what does it do? Right. It's where that goes dun 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 dun. Right, they have like a line between you don't see it in the dark, so it's like a metal line in between the stage
like a zip
and
wire type thing, yeah.
Between the stage and the camera booth.
I actually know people that didn't know that this happened until they saw videos after the show.
That's crazy. I was luckily placed for both of them. But the second time I saw him, I was actually like right just in front of the thing, so it happened right above me. But it's like a firefight. Thing shoots the stage goes on fire, the thing shoots back, and the top of the fucking camera booth just shoots up in flames.
That's so sick.
Or fireworks, either way.
What's that, the sound booth in the middle of the crowd?
Yeah, the camera bit, the sound booth, camera bit. Yeah, it's just incredible. If you haven't seen that, YouTube do has live download over 15 or 13, I think 13. It was. Yeah. So, absolutely, definitely.
I mean, it's that kind of shit that I was just blown away by, really. Like, the amount of money that they must have spent on just getting that stage right for their act is just fucking crazy, man. Like, absolutely insane. I'm still to this day I don't forgive myself.
There's no expenses spared.
But I couldn't have helped it. Like at the end of the day, and I still hate myself for it. So that gives you an indication of how much I really wish I could have seen them that weekend. So for my festival, I will literally be in the front pit, wherever the hell I want to be. To be honest, I'll probably spend some time on the stage with them because I need that in my life. Yeah. So then we're moving on to my sub-support, which you will probably appreciate.
Okay.
Is Trivium.
Trivium, great.
Trivium,
excellent.
Yeah. So I have also opted for heavy on the new album, plus all of the classics, basically.
Yeah, great.
So, you know, like, I want Anthem played. I don't give a fuck.
See, it's funny that actually you mentioned that, because they've released a thing, they're getting the fans to choose a set list for the UK tour.
And they probably don't like playing that song.
I don't know, I think they played it once where I saw them. I think it was a download. But I opted not to vote for that song.
Why is that? Overplayed? Just because it's like the one that everyone's too familiar with?
It's not great. I've seen it once live and that's enough for me.
I'll be honest with you.
From that album to the Rats.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I would, yeah, that song is getting played at my festival anyway. Because
that's the only song I chose from the Crusade.
Wow.
Vengeance Falls got nothing.
I mean, for me, it's the solo and the guitar work in We Are the Fire. And it is an anthem at the end of the day. You know that is a song that the whole crowd will shout at the top of their lungs. There's loads of Trivium songs that is the case as well. I just feel like that's their pinnacle sort of one, isn't it?
Camera's being dodgy.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell's going on with it this week. No, so yeah, I mean, you sort of covered pretty much everything to do with Trivium in terms of what I was...
Oh, what is going on there?
Oh, you've switched the camera around, laddie.
Decipher currently expecting technical difficulties. Right, let's stop playing around this fucking screen.
Yes. So, yeah, sub-support, Trivium. Heavy on the new album because I would be quite intrigued to see that. And Trivium are another one of those bands that I talk about when, I mean, like I said, with All Hope Is Gone, I probably did have some people sort of slating me for choosing that album for Slipknot last week. But I did that for the same reasons that I like Trivium's, all of their albums pretty much, is because it is just consistent growth. Now, it's different in Slipknot because then you get the Grey Chapter and you're like, okay, you guys suck.
We don't like that album here.
But Trivium, there are probably like, you could probably say that they're like, a lot of Trivium fans would probably choose an older album if you ask them what their favourite one is.
Yeah.
But is there actually a bad album of theirs?
Yeah.
What?
Vengeance Falls.
Okay.
Not a fan.
Okay. Fair enough. But I mean, like, out of all of the sort of, since he's made like a bit of a journey to combat his, or like to really hone his vocal style.
Yeah.
Especially for singing. I just feel like every album that they've released, like Silence in the Snow, is just fucking amazing. And
Oh yeah, Silence in the Snow is great.
yeah,
Massive change to their style, but
that's what I mean.
the fact they headlined Bloodstock off that album is insane, because Bloodstock are a very elitist crowd when it comes to this. They seem to hate most headliners, but they went down a treat, just like Machine Head did. Everyone complained about that. Even people complain about Lamb of God headlining Bloodstock, and I wasn't there that year, unfortunately. But they smashed it, apparently.
Amazing. So yeah, so moving on to my main support then would be Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, cool.
And what I have chosen is, even though I would not like it's not that I wouldn't like it, I would love for them to have like a long enough set for them to play the whole of the stage plus the amount of other songs from other albums that I like, but they just won't have enough time to do that because I like too many other songs on top of the stage.
Yeah.
So what I've decided is that they can, as long as they do all of my favourites from the stage and like a few of my favourites from the self-titled and just any others that they fancy doing, basically, as the only requirement that I would like to place on them is that somehow, if they had the same stage and set design as they did in January last year.
Yeah.
So if they had the square,
that's the only thing
thing.
that's difficult. Apparently, it's not coming back to download this year, is because there's no roof. They can't have a cube there.
Yeah.
But they're actually going towards less pyro and more of the visuals.
Which is what I found quite fascinating, really, is because they are a band that I've always attributed to having like fireworks and fire and pyrotechnics and stuff like that at their shows, and not so much in terms of like trippy aspects like that. So when I saw videos of the January performances last year, I was just like, this, and it fits with the album so well.
It really does, It
fits with the album so well. It's so fucking like mystical and trippy as fuck. It's basically like taking a tab, but in your ears somehow, and like So yeah, as long as they had the same sort of like stage design and played a fair amount of the stage, I would be happy. And I would also like to see some of their covers that they've released since then.
I question the covers. The chances are down they're going to play "Wish You Were Here" anyway by Pink Floyd.
Probably for the Rev's sake as well.
They don't attribute it to that.
No?
I think no, it's just a cover. It's a cover.
Okay.
They got so far away for that.
True.
Or if they sometimes keep Afterlife, if they keep more upbeat. I would really want to see they play live for Gunslinger. I didn't think of that earlier.
Gunslinger, fuck yeah.
And of course, Little Piece of Heaven. But in terms of covers, my favourite cover is Retro Vertigo, originally by Mr. Bungle. But if I had to see one live, I'd probably choose Malahuena Santa Rosa.
Okay.
Because seeing that live would probably be insane.
And the amount of work that M Shadows put into actually
Absolutely
nailing that song is fucking...
Yeah.
You've got to commend it. You've
Absolutely.
got to be like fair. Hats off to the guy, man. He trained for how long to do that? How long was he working on his like accent and shit like that to nail that?
For now, I say a long time, but more into that another time.
Okay, fantastic.
Which
I know
we
what.
shall
Yep,
probably
yep.
announce at the end of the show.
Yes. Okay, we can do that. So that and another reason for choosing Avenged there is we spoke about the other week, like what bands do we feel like will have that longevity behind them to last as a classic, and I feel like due to who I've chosen to be my headline, even though I have already seen them headline before, for the same reasons that I fucking loved that show, I've had them back again, and I feel like Avenged Sevenfold would be a good sort of like a modern but are going to be a classic in between.
Who your next one is, and I agree fully.
Yep, Maiden. Iron fucking Maiden. And So I was saying to you that I haven't finalised my list up until this morning, like all week. Now, I'd gotten to Rammstein within a couple of hours.
Okay.
And I'd sort of thought about all of these other bands. It was mostly just these two. And then I thought of Trivium and Avenged, and then I thought of Maiden. And what's taken most of the week is to decide what I wanted Maiden to do.
Right, okay.
I can't pick an album.
No?
I can't pick an album.
Okay.
So what I did was just put a few songs that I would have to see, which are Different World, in terms of a more modern one of theirs, Run to the Hills, Number of the Beast, Fear of the Dark, all
Fear
of
of
the
the
big
Dark.
classics. Fear of the Dark will be the encore for me.
Fear of the Dark has to be played.
And it has to be the encore, I feel. Or if somehow, like in 2013, when it was literally just starting to get dark, and like darkness was falling over the arena, and then he just comes out and starts. Do 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 do, and I shit my pants all over the floor.
See, with me, for Iron Maiden, that song's the only thing that would drag me to Maiden show now. I've seen enough live, I think 3 times, and for me, you're looking at me like you're going to kill me. But that's enough times for me to see Maiden. They're not up there in the world for me. But yeah, Fear of the Dark Day would be great live every time.
I mean, Number of the Beast live is no.
It's great. It's great. I've seen
It's
it.
like, oh yeah, I've picked
Seen it
Avenged
3
to
times.
headline my festival. Nah.
No, I get it.
Meh.
I get it. I totally get it. But yeah.
They've got so many decent songs, man. And I'll tell you what, actually, if I was going to give you one of their newer ones, Different World, listen to that song. If nothing else, the solo will... It makes me shit my pants, basically. Like, it gives me goosebumps every time. And I just fucking love Iron Maiden so much, man. And I'm amazed that it took me 20 years of my life before I actually got to see them live, because they are a band that, like, even my dad, who isn't like a metal fan, and he's definitely like a mod indie rocker sort of type person who loves his Oasis and Stereophonics and stuff like that, but even he knows a lot of Maiden, and they have been in my life for as long as I can remember. And it took me 20 fucking years of being alive to go and see that band. And when I did, the crowd was already so jam-packed that I was further back than I wanted to be. And normally that would be something that could potentially ruin a show for me. I did not give a fuck. I did not care about being in the front pit, because, to be honest with you, I was fucked. And I was just in awe, man. And so the other thing that I've put down is that I would like more involvement with Eddie, the mascot, than they did at Download 2013.
Okay.
He came out a couple of times. He manifested himself in different ways, and I was like, "Yeah, man, it's fucking Eddie." And that was it. A couple of times, and I to be honest with you, I would love a massive fucking monument of Eddie just stood there, like Power Slave version of Eddie, like just a massive pyramid at the back of the stage with his fucking face on, man.
Okay.
Like, I don't care. He should be on the stage at all times. And so that was pretty much the only requirements that I could actually bring myself to really talk about, was that I want Eddie there a lot more than I've seen him before. And as long as they play my short selection of songs.
It's not just me.
I mean, it's your influence. But
It's fine. I'll take that.
yeah, I've got a few songs. I probably could think of more, but obviously, like I said, I didn't actually get round to being able to finalise this until earlier today. So as long as they played my selection and a few others that I'm bound to think of and probably comment on the page as the next month unravels itself, I would be happy. I would be so happy. And as like a festival organiser, I would probably get to meet them.
Yes.
And
great.
he can take me out in his plane and we can make love in
Wow.
the sunset.
Wow. Okay, so round your list them off again, please.
Yes, so festival opener, Hacktivist, going into Carnival, playing the Themata in full.
Hacktivist with Ben.
Yes, Hacktivist with Ben. I don't care if it's just a couple of songs or if he decides to come out for the whole gig, maybe with Jart. I don't mind.
Sorry, I'm going to stop you there because somehow I didn't mention this beforehand. 6th with Justin Hill.
For the whole
the whole thing.
Right, okay. That's cool. I mean, I figured as much anyway, but it's good to hear you.
I mean, I'll probably let the new guy do his songs, which is probably like 3 within the set. Probably like 2.
Maybe
But
one.
yeah, maybe Justin Hill.
Maybe just have a guest appearance for one song.
Yeah, like
with
Justin
the
did
new
with
guy.
the download last
Yeah,
year.
just reverse that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Carnival playing The Martyr in full, Parkway Drive playing a good selection of songs from albums that I can no longer see because I've got my list. Horizons, Deep Blue, and Atlas.
Skills.
Then going into Stone Sour playing Come Whatever May in full. Blackstone Cherry doing whatever. I've actually put whatever in brackets as well, like Come Whatever May, because I'm cool. But then I realised I'm the only person that's going to see this.
Yes, and me. Inside joke. Believe. Imagine.
Imagine, yes. Doing whatever they like, pretty much, because as a band, I trust their set listing. Foo Fighters, in an ideal world, doing a repeat set of MK Bowl 2011. Don't mind which day, don't mind which guests they brought on, just as long as they did the
mixture of
same
both.
songs. Yeah, I would love for all of them to come on, to be honest. Rammstein, as I missed in 2013. And basically all I put next to them was Need Fire and Dildos.
Yeah.
Then going into sub-support with Trivium, heavy on the new album and a lot of classics. Avenged Sevenfold playing whatever the hell they want, just as long as a fair chunk of the stage is played, and as long as the stage is the same as they were in January in London and stuff. That would be amazing. And then headlining Iron Maiden, all I really put down was a few particular songs and Eddie Heavy. And that is my festival. Thank you very much. Tickets are £250 a day.
Per band. Excellent. Okay, so moving on to our next part. Oh yeah, we did ask for fans to comment, but none of you cunts did, so fuck you.
You're so
But
nice.
no, I only did this today, to be fair, and that's fine. We all lead busy lives on a Monday. I'm not bitter. So our review is Themata. Is it Themata or The Matter?
I've just called it the Martyr the whole time, but it's probably like Scone Scone type thing. We know what album you're talking about.
Great.
By Carnival.
By Carnival. Okay.
Yes.
So this was Rob's pick.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm quite eager to hear how this went for you beforehand, so stop looking at my sheet.
I don't ever look at the sheet. Do you really want to start off with me, or do you want to talk about why you chose it in the first place?
Okay, I chose it in the first place with the idea that eventually my plan is to break this one into some other tech metal bands, and I figured that Carnival, being as old as they are and doing what they've done for as long as they have, don't necessarily have the sheer heaviness behind their technicality, but the technicality is still there. Okay. So I thought it would be a good stepping stone, like literally just dipping a toe in the water of more things tech.
Okay.
And I love the album. I've always loved the album from the moment I heard it. My friend Chris actually showed me...
Chris Rolls?
Yes,
Rolls.
Chris Rolls showed me the namesake song. And I love that so much, and I thought the drums were really tight, and it's the type of drumming that I really like. So I listened to that song multiple times before I actually got around to listening to the album. And when I did listen to the album, it blew my fucking socks off, and I figured, what a good way to break you into some things. But now I'm starting to doubt my selection.
Oh, this is not that.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to ask you another question. Why you do that? Can you get up the set list, please?
The
track list, sorry.
track listing, yep.
So, one more question before I get started on my thoughts about it.
Mm-hmm.
What was it you called it the other week? Did you call it underrated masterpiece? Was that the phrase you used?
For me, in my opinion, it's maybe masterpiece, if I did use that terminology, might not necessarily be the correct, because there are things that I still find wrong with this album. There are still a few songs on there that I'm just like, ugh, like are a bit boring.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an underrated, extremely good effort from a band, considering it was their first full-length debut album, and it was self-produced.
Do you know what year it was, just out of curiosity?
2004 or 5?
So it's this century.
2005, I feel.
Okay.
I'm going to check that now.
Alright.
Shabada, shabada, 2005! Woohoo!
If you get the full list up, that'd be great. Just more songs. So, my opinion, I'm going to start with a particular sentence. Don't know how to word it. I'm not going to say it's shit.
Okay.
It's close to shit.
What, the album?
The album's... I'm
Wow.
really not a fan of it. I tried, and I heavily disliked it.
Wow.
And then I tried again, and I had a bit more hope.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried again, and it simmered slightly down. Not to first, but between first and second. I don't know if I went into expecting something different with tech metal. I expected a lot.
I mean, it's not
something
tech
different.
metal. That's the thing that you need to appreciate there. It's not tech metal. If anything, they're just progressive.
Right.
Like, I know it's getting into shitty terminology that neither one of us really care for. But they're definitely not heavy enough to be classed as, like, metal.
No. So, they're tech, I get that.
Yeah.
I appreciated some of the... I'm going to grab your phone to look at the songs.
Yep.
I appreciated some of the songs. One that originally spoke out to me was Rockfort.
Yep. Yep.
And then the third listen, I was like, maybe not. The only one that has stuck out is Lifelike. I hate the fact that it's spelled with number ones rather than I's.
Yes.
But we'll ignore that. It's not about the spelling.
That's very interesting.
Why?
Because that song in particular has made my list of weaker songs.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, very interesting.
Scarabs as well. Actually, now I think about it,
Good song.
Scarabs was
Good
more of
song.
an instrumental, wasn't it? As far as
Yeah.
I can remember.
But
that one seemed better.
Demonstrates the heavier guitar work.
Yeah, it was
quite a
heavier,
lot.
but at the same time, I kind of felt like it went nowhere.
Yeah, arguable.
So that is those are the songs. When I first listened to it, it started off with COTE,
Yep.
and I thought it was a good start, and then just the album got worse.
Okay, so my favourite songs on the album are COTE, Into Thermata. And then Shutter Speed is really good as well. I quite like that. So I've put, COTE is great opener into Thermata. Them two are my favourites, I would say, with Shutter Speed being a very close, second in line for being one of my favourites. And I feel like it's a really good driving song. I do kind of see what you're saying in the sense of you've got three really strong opening songs that make you think, right, this album's going to literally punch me in the dick, and it doesn't quite. It doesn't quite.
I didn't get past song one before I realised it wasn't going to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
The first time I listened to it, I've had no internet in my house for like a week now, driving myself nuts, and my Apple Music is free, and it's free to stream on my network as well, until the 2nd of February, killing me inside, because that means I've now got to pay for it. But back off the point, I had no internet, so I was just trying to get to sleep one night, couldn't watch any videos or anything like that, because I'd just fall asleep with TV on, or I would use 4G data. So I stuck this on my first listen. Maybe it was a bad idea to listen to the first time while I was trying to go to sleep. So at the same time I'm trying to focus on it, but it was poor. So I think I should just turn it off. No, I think I let it play, and I fell asleep eventually. So
I mean, this is a guy who can review an album in his dreams, so it's fine.
Yeah, I'll give him more listens, okay? But it just doesn't speak to me.
That's
and
fair
I
enough.
don't think it's... So you had worries about the vocalist. I don't think it's the vocalist. I don't hate the vocalist.
That's what I was concerned about with yourself, yeah. But now that you've sort of put it like that, I guess you're right. Like, the album itself doesn't really carry much of a strong message.
No, it's samey in a lot of places.
I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons that I picked it out, is because you can't really say that two songs sound too similar on that album.
I don't know. I would say some points do sound similar. There's a particular song, and I can't remember it, but I fucking remember there's a particular vocal I hate. I'm not sure if it's the wording of it, or the voice, or the tone. Like I say, the vocals aren't a problem normally, but there was one point. Definitely not a fan. So that is my opinion of it. It's not a band. This album has made me even think. So sometimes I go, oh, this is great, I want to listen to more. Or sometimes I go, well, this
hasn't
a
been
different
great,
thing.
but like maybe this band has hope, kind of.
Yeah, this is an album that's maybe go, I'm not listening to this band again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy.
It is.
That's this is going to be our first proper discordance then. I
Yeah,
feel, in terms of our ratings.
I would say if I wasn't doing a podcast, I would have wasted my time
Okay.
by listening to that.
Okay.
All right.
That's strong.
Yeah.
That's really strong.
So,
Interesting.
just hit your rating first, shall we?
No.
No, you sure?
No, yeah, let's. So I actually, being a fan of the band and knowing a bit of their history, knowing how difficult it was for them to make this album as well, because odds were really highly stacked against them, hence why they did it themselves. I actually gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
You've given it half of that, if that.
Yeah, we're not even half.
You've given it a 3.
It was very tough between 2 and 3. I have given it a 3.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, it's just poor.
Fair enough.
So
That's interesting. I mean, it's definitely not putting me off from giving you heavier stuff
no,
now.
I want to. Like, if anything, to give our opinions is great to have a chat.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that we've experienced now disagreement in our tastes, but I want to learn more while we teach more as well to other people.
Yes.
So absolutely. So
would you say that if they were slightly more heavy or orientated, that it might have gone down better? Like if they
it would have to depend how they are, because that's not to say I like heavy stuff. I like really soft stuff as well. This wasn't it.
Shania Twain. You know.
Shania Twain, yes. But just absolute soft stuff in rock and metal still, though, and their alternative subgenres. this
Interesting.
just wasn't it. I
Very
want to experience more tech.
Yep,
More
that's
tech
cool.
metal, preferably.
Yep.
But
See, that was what I was skeptical of, and hence why I wouldn't have necessarily given you Carnival as a band. Like when I decided on them and when I thought about them, I did sort of think it could go either way with you. You'll leave it, but it was for reasons like the vocalist that I thought it could go downhill, because I know with that kind of like vocal style, there's a very fine line for you between what's like really good and really well sung, like Justin Hill sort of like high pitched vocals and like melodics and stuff like that. There's a very fine line between that and being like whiny and
yeah, this didn't come across as whiny.
that's which is what I was kind of worried about. I thought if you weren't going to like the album, it was going to be for reasons like that.
Yeah, fair play to the vocalist. I didn't think he was the worst part about the band.
What about the drummer? What about the drummer? You've got to appreciate the drummer.
No, nothing impressed me.
Not even the drums.
No.
Interesting.
It just felt like it was going nowhere. You say it's progressive, it didn't progress.
I mean, that's the sort of genre that I guess like other people would probably label them as like alternative / progressive, especially
Right.
for their time as well. There weren't many other bands doing this kind of orientated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that does fill me with hope. Then that makes me feel like I can chuck you in the deep end a little bit more next time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The next time I pick an album that's this sort of style, I feel like I already know who I might pick, but we'll go into that another time.
Yeah, sure.
So a 3 out of 10 for you.
3 out of 10,
and
and
an
it
8
was a
out
close
of 10.
3 out of 10. to
Yeah.
2.
Wow.
My original thought was 2, and that's when I listened to it again and went, alright, that's harsh. But it's worse than the Grey Chapter, because that will give me, when I rated that when it first came out, it was a 4 out of 10, I stuck with that. So,
Mad.
that's the matter by Carnival.
Crazy. It's
So-
definitely not worse than the Grey Chapter, I'm sorry.
I just think it is.
Fair enough.
Grey Chapter has songs that I love. Not many at all, but it has them. So we've only gone over an hour and a quarter, so I'm going to actually extend this outro a little bit longer.
Okay.
Okay, we're at least going to hit.
I agree.
We're at least going to hit an hour and a half. So that's like 20 minutes away, but maybe not that long. Either way, thank you very much for joining us. But I'm not saying goodbye yet. So going forward, Mr. Roberto here has a job starting next week.
Yes.
So we are having at least a week break. Hopefully back in 2 weeks.
I should think so. Yeah.
Roll with
it's basically just it's a career it's a change of career that is into a completely different field from anything that I've ever done. It is going to be very heavy on training. I feel like I just want, especially seeing as that will be next Monday will be my first day as well.
Yeah.
I just feel like I need my head in the game to make sure that I can do the job basically.
And also this week coming up as prep for your first day.
Yeah, 100%.
So we won't be back next week, but hopefully in 2 weeks' time. But that gives us a bit of time to build. So we've had a vote on for the last week. Last time I checked it, an hour ago, it's ended by now, and the vote was our number 4 picks from our top 10 albums of the century so far.
And they were just random as well. We decided to sit with number 4 because
Before we know what our own number 4 are.
Yeah,
That
purely
makes sense.
because it was just the first 3 of our bands, or like the top 3 of our bands, would have been probably quite predictable. So to escape that, we decided to go with our 4th. It was like the runners-up.
Yep, so Rob chose All Hope Is Gone by Slipknot.
I did.
And I chose Unto the Locust by Machine Head. Now, it's been pretty close this whole week.
Yeah.
Slipknot have always been in front. Mm-hmm. And unless it's drastically changed now, All Hope Is Gone is the winner.
Yep.
With 12 votes to 9 in the end. It was very close before, with 11 to 9. So if it just one other way around, it would have led tie. But 21 votes in total, and 12 of them went to All Hope Is Gone. So that will be on our next podcast.
Yes, sir.
Now then, we've got a few things coming up in terms of topics. We're trying to think of more to go along with. Now, we are asking you... Now, this is a bit separate, actually. I'm going to ask you a few things as our loyal fans. If you could please, like and comment as you are. It's sort of great. Interaction is perfect. I'll keep on bugging the download delinquents page. They haven't moaned yet, but I'll keep showing to that. But if you can just give this page one share, if someone else likes it, then great. We're trying to build up a fan base. We've said from the beginning we don't really give a fuck about people watching, but it's always better to have a conversation when people are talking.
And it also means that we can make things a bit more interactive as
Exactly,
well. Like
yeah.
If you guys wanted us to cover something, we are the type of people that would skim through every comment, and if something stands out at us, we'd be like, actually, that's a banging idea. Let's do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Advise topics. If you want to want us to review a certain album, we can probably. So the current rotation of albums, I choose one, he chooses one. We will put one in a poll and repeat. If there's enough people asking for albums, it will just do me, you, poll, fans.
Yeah.
Do a 4-weekly thing, okay? And 4 weeks adds up well. Once like one rotation a month, pretty much. So if you have anything like that, please just comment us. I think there's an option to open up this page for messages. I'll try and do that. Anything like that is genuinely appreciated. So for topics coming up, we won't go into too much detail about other topics. Next time's topic, we are going to be building a band. So our perfect supergroup. Now the rules are to stop any cheating and stuff like that and having too many from the same band. Only one member from a band. So you can't choose Kirk Hammett and James Hetfield. And you can't choose people that have been in the same band either. So you can't cheat and go, I want Corey Taylor from Slipknot and Jim Root from Stone Sour, because they're technically in the same band together in Slipknot. So you can't do that decision. It's got to be people that are completely unrelated to each other. The only slight rule... No, that's it. No,
that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so that will be on our next podcast, along with the review of All Hope Is Gone by Slipknot. Now, we have a possible topic coming up soon, and that will be a tournament-style thing. Now, that's something that's not Metal are doing at the moment, and I've entirely been inspired by that idea. Haven't stolen it. I've been inspired by it, so we'll probably be doing something similar. That'll be in the upcoming weeks after the next podcast, and we'll be revealing bands and different topics.
Again, the interactivity from you guys will come into play quite heavily with that. Absolutely. Because we will need your votes in order for that to work.
Yep. So when that comes up, we'll talk about it more in detail at the end of the next podcast, or whenever the podcast before we end up doing it. But there will be a sheet with all the it'll be 32 bands, 16 aside, and I'll mention the groups. But when you vote, because we won't know the groups until we pick it live, if you could just we'll sort it out at the time, but choose your favourite band out of the two bands that are against each other. Now then, something that's been planned for a while.
Yes.
Is also inspired by That's Not Metal, just because that's where I've seen it first. Just probably give a shout out, to be fair. If you're not aware of what That's Not Metal is, it's the main podcast that inspired me to do this and got me and Rob chatting. It's been something I wanted to do for a while anyway, but that definitely inspired it. So go to that's not metal.com or .net, and you can get so many good shit from there for £17 a year or £3 a month, so you can subscribe for that, and they give 3 podcasts every week. 3, not 3. So we're doing a special, and this is going to be a quarterly thing, we hope.
Yeah, roughly sort of at least 3 times a year, at least.
Yeah, I was thinking 4, so March, June, September,
ideally
December.
4, but obviously we don't want to sort of commit to anything too heavily because we don't know what's coming up in the future and stuff. But
yeah.
Kieran's naturally, I'm pretty sure anybody that knows him can guess where our first special is going to. I've got one in the pipeline being planned for the summer sort of time.
Yeah.
And it's the idea behind it is basically that we'll deep dive into bands, particularly ones that we're quite heavily fans of. But I imagine if a time comes when again interactivity is quite high with the page, man, this camera needs to stop fucking around. If like you guys obviously want to get involved with that as well, we could potentially look at doing specials that other people have requested in the future. Yeah. But right now we're really just keeping it to what we know. And one of the things that you've probably realised about us doing this so far is that we're not very well informed. We could probably stand to do our homework a little bit.
I'll give us more credit than that. I think we're well informed. We fuck up on the day.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
Calm the Fire, that was the Oxbridge song from earlier on, from about an hour and a half ago.
But the idea behind the specials is that they will be a proper deep dive. They will probably be the most informative episodes of this podcast that we do.
Yeah.
And in an ideal world, I mean, for example, so as we're probably about to tell you, our first special is going to be Kieran's one.
Yep.
And for anybody that doesn't know Kieran even remotely as a person, you should know it's going to be Avenged Sevenfold.
It is. Now, there is a good reason why I've chosen that. Not only because they're my favourite band and I can talk for ages, but by doing Avenged Sevenfold first, we're setting the bar. So it shows for future what we're going to be doing. I know that I can go into detail about Avenged Sevenfold and get every bit of knowledge I can. And I have knowledge I can't even release to the public, to be fair, from what I've been told when I met certain people. But enough about that. Don't want to get your dick wet for no reason. We're setting the bar. So by doing that, we know that the next one that his topic's going to be, or the one after that, will have to reach that bar. Okay, I don't want to start off with a band we know a bit about and try and find everything about them and miss loads of details, then realise, oh shit, we could have done it a lot better. By doing Avenged Sevenfold first, I'm setting the bar, and that's that. I've said set the bar about 4 times in that paragraph.
I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to name their next album.
Great.
So, I mean, yeah, like I said, it's going to require a lot of homework on both of our behalves. We're both really excited to do that. It is probably going to have like a bit of a different feel to it in the sense that we will still have a laugh with it, like we do with the episodes that we're doing at the minute. Fuck you, camera. But it is going to be, I mean, for me, I like Avenged Sevenfold. I don't know a lot about them as a band or their history or where they've come from, their hardships that they've suffered. So I suppose the idea behind it really is that whenever I'm doing one, it will educate you and vice versa.
Yeah, so the layout, during these podcasts, you've seen that we kind of back off each other. We carry on, bounce off each other, sorry. And we'll carry on a conversation here, there. When Avenged Sevenfold comes up on a special, it will be me leading the podcast and him asking questions. When we do the next one, it'll be the other way around. He'll be leading the podcast, I'll be asking the questions. So I'm not just sat there doing nothing. We can interact with each other, but he will be giving all the information then. With Avenged, I'll be giving pretty much all the information. The other thing about the layout, which we will still discuss in person first of all, but this isn't going to be a typical hour-and-a-half podcast. This is going to be an up to 4-hour podcast, right? Intense. So it won't be at the normal time of 8:30 at night after work. We'll have to arrange it. Hilarious. Excuse me while I laugh. So, so yeah, that's the future. So the Avenged Sevenfold special will be in March, middle of March approximately.
Yeah, roughly about that.
Okay, so we'll give
plenty of heads up,
yeah,
and plenty
heads up.
of time for you guys to sort of get an idea of. Once we finalise a date that we'll be doing that on, we'll be sure to let that go to you guys, so that if you are particularly interested in it, you can make sure that you are tuned in. Like Kieran said, it is going to be a long one. Make sure that you've got very little, if nothing, else on that night. And
cancel your wedding if it happens that day.
Yeah, okay. I mean, sure. Cool. Do that.
Don't feed your children.
Don't feed your children. Spend money on
this free
crisps
podcast
and stuff to put your feet up with and munch while you watch us talk about Avenged Sevenfold for about 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
It should be really good. It's definitely going to be an educational sort of thing for me. Like I said, I don't know a great deal about the band, so I've definitely got lots of questions. And the idea is that, I mean, if you haven't guessed by now, we are very secretive about our selections every week. This is
from each other as well.
Yeah, like, so Kieran's bands that he's chosen for his festival today, I didn't know at all before we started tonight. Whereas for the specials, I get the feeling we'll probably do it very differently, in the sense that we'll both want to be entirely clued up about direction and stuff, and that way I can sort of just like...
He'll be prepared to ask the
Yeah, I'll
questions at the right
structure
times.
my questions around what information he wants to go on the most. And then if there's anything that I feel like, well, actually, I'd really like to know about that, I can let him know beforehand, and he can do his research if he needs to, just to provide accurate answers. I highly doubt it for the first one, but maybe in the future ones.
Yeah, I've got an
I'm
idea.
pretty sure
Yeah.
you can probably tell me what hospital they were all fucking born in. And but no, it should be really good, really informative. Slightly different feel to anything that we've done so far. But it's definitely going to be a nice bar for us to reach in terms of making this a bit more educational.
Yep, exactly. So, capping that off,
yeah.
just a final thank you again if you end up sharing this, or if you've liked it recently, that's great. We're topping over 100 views per video, which is just absolutely fucking insane. So a massive thank you. I reiterate what I said before, we started this off with, we called 5 people to watch us, now we're getting this, we're not getting on top of ourselves. Next week, or this week, could be 5 views. Give a fuck, we still enjoy doing it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But genuinely, thank you very much. So we are Kieran and Rob. We still will be next time. But we are also Decipher, so thank you very much and enjoy. Bye-bye.
Bye.